Hello everybody, welcome back to another Expeditions Guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at new findings. This is an expedition in the Tatras region. This expedition is unlocked after completing a driver's misfortune, and this expedition will take us into Cat's Spine Ridge to unlock that map and the associated outpost with it. So, to do this, we're going to be using the Sentinel, and if you have any questions about my vehicle loadout, you'll find that in the description below. So let's talk a little bit about what we're doing. So we're going to be starting here at the northeast outpost, and we're going to be following this path out of the outpost and down south through the mountains over to the gateway, which will take us into Cat's Spine Ridge. Once we get into Cat's Spine Ridge, I will talk a little bit more about what we're doing when we get there. So, that being said, let's go ahead and get started and make our way over to the new map and get started with that. So the first thing we're going to do is drive on out of the outpost. Right over here, we're going to head out behind these big trees here. We're just going to follow the path right on down the hill here. Then from here, we're just going to take a straight shot right through the swampland here. We're going to go up and down some hills as we make our way through the swampland and to the mountains so we can make our way over to the gateway that will take us into Cat's Spine Ridge. So we're going to go around the left side of this puddle here, and that is just going to keep us out of the deep mud. Just give us a little bit more traction by just staying right up on the shoreline here. We're going to go right past this rock, up over this hill, and past this tree. And then right through this little hilly section here is going to get us to a little bit more swampland. And this time we're just going to stay on the right side of this swampy trench here. Again, just keeping those tires up on the dry ground as much as we can, just to give us a little bit more traction getting through here. We're just going to go up this hill, past these trees, and then we're just going to follow this path right on through over to this cliff. Once we head over here, we're going to make our way down to the left and head south. Just right on over all these bumps here. Just going to take it nice and easy over the bumps. It can be very easy if you're going a little too fast to tip the vehicle over. It'll start bouncing and then all kinds of trouble will happen. We're just taking it nice and easy here. We're just going to go right over these rocks here. It's going to give us a nice path down to the river waterline here. And from here we're just going to go right across to this little island. Up and over. And across to the other side. Once we get to the other side, we're just going to go around these trees. Got a little divot here to get through. And then we're going to go right across these rocks to get to the other side of the mountain. Once we get up over the mountain, we're going to head to the left and use this small path to make our way down. Once we get over here, we're just going to stay up on this dry ground. It's a bit of a slant here, so just be a little extra careful through there. We're just going to go right through these logs here. And then up and over the hill here. And then right here, we're going to go right through the middle of these pine trees right here. There's going to be a smaller tree that we'll be able to just kind of knock over on our way through. There's a bit of a drop off there, so we used a little bit of winch there to stabilize the vehicle going over the hill. And then we're going to climb up over these rocks. Right on across this little path of muddy water. And then from here, we are going to head right on through the gateway. So let's go ahead and travel to Cat Spine Ridge. Alright everybody, welcome to Cat Spine Ridge. So we have two things to do here. We got to find clues and set up camp. So we are right here at where the gateway spits us out. So we're going to follow this path through the swamp here and then head up this mountain pass here and start climbing the mountain. Once we get up here, there's going to be some rocks that we're going to have to move. And that's where the Sentinel is going to come in handy, because it is strong enough to move the rocks, but also small enough to navigate these tight areas here. After which we're going to just kind of follow this path right through the woods, over the water, and over to these ruins here to find clues. Once we find the clues, we're going to head back over here to set up camp. So that's what we're going to be doing in Cat Spine Ridge. So let's go ahead and get started, and I'll show you how it's done. So it is very muddy through here, so we're going to be just searching for as much dry ground as we can find as we make our way through this swampy area. There's a lot of mud and a lot of just sunken tree branches and stumps and things like that to look out for, so it is very treacherous through here. You can see that mud. The truck just kind of digs into that mud there a little bit. It's not too bad, but Sentinel does a pretty good job of getting through here without having to lower tire pressures and those types of things. So should be able to just kind of cruise right on through here. There's some of those logs and roots and things like that. We're just going to kind of squeeze right through those. And over here we've got this big log here. So we're just going to get up on the left side here, kind of by these roots, and just navigate around this big log, fallen tree. Just right through here. And head off to the right here just a little bit. Right through a bit more swampy water here. We're just going to kind of hook around to the left here to get around these stumps. And once we get over here, we can make our way right on up the hill. We're just going to stick to this tree line here, try to avoid that dip in the ground there. And over here we got another water body with some deep mud in it, so we're just going to stay right to the edge here and go right around that. And we're just going to go up over these rocks here. Got another little mud puddle here. We're just going to go right around that. And over some more rocks here. Once we get clear of the trees, we're going to head off to the right and make our way into this big rock formation as we climb up to the top of this mountain here. And right here is just kind of a super narrow pass. We're just going to squeeze right through here and right on up the hill. There is a tree stump on the ground there if you need to brace yourself or pull yourself up if you get kind of wedged in there. So it's not too difficult to kind of squeeze through there. Once we get to the top, we're just going to keep following this path to the north. It's going to take us up and over these rocks and through these trees. You're going to be very careful about that ledge there. Going around the trees, up and over the dip in the ground here. We're just going to keep following this path up to the top. Once we get to the top here, these are the rocks that we are going to have to move. So we're going to go ahead and try to grab this big one right here. Not that one, the other one. There we go. we're just going to pull this back, kind of down this hill just a little bit. Let that tumble, get that out of the way. And then we're going to go ahead and grab this rock next using the manual winch selector. It's going to pull this rock down the hill. And once we get over here, we're going to once again go ahead and grab the manual winch from the front of the vehicle and go ahead and grab this rock next. And same thing, we're just going to pull it right on down the hill. And with those rocks out of the way, we should be able to squeeze the Sentinel through here. If not, you can continue to move some of these rocks. But there should be just enough room here to squeeze through. There's not. Okay. Pull the vehicle back. And we're just going to go ahead and grab the manual winch. And we're just going to grab this one here. Pull this one out of here. Alright, with that one out of the way, we should now be able to squeeze through here. Should be just enough room. Kind of squeeze through here. There we go. So we do have to just pull one more rock out of there. Not a big deal. Anyway, we're going to continue on. Once we get through the mountain pass, everything kind of opens up for a bit here. There's just a lot of just open space to cross here. So we're going to head off to this right side of the tree line here. That's going to take us through a little bit of swampy area, but nothing too dangerous or treacherous to worry about. There are, as you can see here, a bunch of stumps and things like that in the water to kind of watch out for. But all these branches you can use as winch points and anchor points to kind of pull yourself through here if you get bogged down just a little bit. Let's get across the swamp. We're going to go up and over these rocks. And we're just going to keep following this open area here. Just going to take us right alongside the river here. Once we get to the bottom here, we're just going to dart across the water. And we're just going to stay right on this side here. Try to get up out of the deep mud as much as we can. We just kind of keep meandering north. Once we get over here, we're going to go up and over these rocks through the little gap right here. And then it's going to take us up past this golden tree here, a couple of golden trees there. And that is going to indicate the path down over the rocks. Once we get down to the bottom, we're just going to go right across the clearing here. Just going to hug this left side just to stay on this solid ground. And use this stone path. And head right on over to our blue square, and we're going to look around. That's going to show you the sights. We got some ruins and stuff over here to check out. Alright, so with that done, we're going to get a message, and we're met with a collapsed passage once again. Is this a cave? We should set up a camp nearby and study this place. And set up a camp we shall do. So we're right here, so we're basically just going to backtrack, follow our steps backwards a little bit. But instead of heading up this way, we're going to head up to the west and set up camp. So let's go ahead and get turned around and get camp set up. Oh, and we are actually out of fuel, so let's go ahead and refuel and continue. So we're just going to follow our steps back up the hill, past the golden trees. Past the tree, down through the gap here. And just like last time, we're just going to stay up on the edge, going through the swamp here. And right up past the rocks, we got a little bit of water to go through. And we're just going to make our way right on over to that nice blue square. And there we go. That is going to set up camp, and that is going to complete new findings. So I hope you guys enjoyed this guide. This is going to give you your outpost in Cat Spine Ridge and the heavy roll bar for the Sheba Dart. So I hope you guys enjoyed the guide. Let me know what you think, and until next time, I'll see you in the wilds. Bye-bye.